Thanks so much for coming back to What the Heck is Happening in HR. Phillip Wilson joins us today, and he's a thought leader in approachable leadership and the author of the Leader Shift Playbook, published April 1st. He has dedicated his career to helping organizations build extraordinary workplaces where teams feel engaged, empowered, and ready to deliver results. As president of LRI Consulting Services and Approachable Leadership, Phil has spent years helping companies build extraordinary workplaces that engage teams and reduce turnover. He's written 7 impactful books on leadership and management, including Left of Boom, The Approachability Playbook, 3 Essential Habits for Thriving Leaders and Teams, and his upcoming release, I've already mentioned, The Leader Shift Playbook. 4 simple changes to score big by unleashing your team's potential. He is a sought-after speaker for keynotes on leadership, employee retention, labor relations, and more, and we welcome him to What the Heck is Happening in HR. For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description. So we welcome back today on What the Heck is Happening in HR, Phil Wilson. And Phil has been sharing with us all sorts of insights in his books he's had, his businesses he had about approachable leadership, and his latest book, which is called The Leader Shift Playbook. We've covered 2 of the pillars. Let's talk about the other 2 pillars of the 4. Welcome back.
Thanks, Callie. Appreciate being back.
So let's talk about the 3rd pillar. It has something to do with others.
hmm Yeah, the 3rd pillar is your belief in others. And, in our last conversation, you talked about, you had people on your team that gave you feedback about, hey, look, you see me on a place that I didn't even know was on the map.
Mhm.
And that's a great example of someone who is making what I call the hero assumption about folks on their team. The hero assumption is just simply, I believe that my team wants to be great. But if you reflect on some of the best leaders in your life, they're probably somebody who believed in you at a time maybe that you didn't believe in yourself, or
Yep.
just like you used in your example, right? I see you 3 or 4 steps ahead, in a place where you might not have even imagined that you could go. And that's a great leader. And you expand people's horizons. You get them developing in a direction that they really never would have thought of. Those are really, and you're going to be more connected with those people. That's the hero assumption, and that's your belief in others.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness I had bosses who believed in me more than I believed in me.
hmm
And that's why whenever I did something, I made a mistake in something,
hmm
uh, I felt I disappointed them. And
Right.
that hurt more than the mistake, whether it was a spreadsheet or PowerPoint that
Yeah.
looked bad, whatever it was. I felt so bad about disappointing them because they certainly gave me more leeway than I would have ever given myself. I mean, I was a
hmm
corporate officer of a publicly traded company at 38. And when I was 38, I thought everybody did that. When I look back
hmm
now, I'm like, well, that was pretty cool when I look back
yeah.
now. But boy, did they have faith in me that I didn't have in myself. And so,
hmm
we had I had very good mentors and I had very good relationships, and that 4th pillar is about relationships.
Right. Yeah. So the last pillar is your belief in your relationships. And the sort of subtitle of that is, get rid of the phoniness and truly connect with your team. And so this this belief is, there's a lot of times people are like, well, look, I don't need to be everybody's best friend. I don't need to know about what's going on in everyone's personal
Right.
lives. And I'm not saying leadership is all about like how much you know about every sort of gory detail in the lives of your team. But for you to really connect, it's got to come from a place of vulnerability. Like, I have to feel safe coming to you if I let's just say like I did make a mistake and I want to talk to you about the mistake, and I feel and maybe just like you were, like I feel disappointed that I did this, but I need to be in a place where I feel comfortable sharing that vulnerability with my boss. And the only way that that's ever going to happen, and you know this, Kelly, like the only way that that occurs is the boss has to show that they're okay being vulnerable with their teammate, right? If
Yeah.
you like, it's a two-way street. And so again, I don't need to know like everything that's happening in your life, but like if there's something, again, if my belief is that you want to be great and there's something that's like getting in the way of that, I'm going to ask you like, hey, look, again, I see you over here on the map, but today it just feels like you're kind of stuck in this, bad neighborhood. What's going on? And the fact that you notice that, the fact that you care enough to ask about it, the fact that that's not coming as like a judgment, and it's not coming as I'm blaming you, but it's like, I see where you're headed. So let's figure out like what's the obstacle in the way so we can kind of get you moving on the map where you're headed. Those are very different conversations. And if you are in a place where you can have a conversation like that with your teammate, then you're connected. Like you will have really strong connections. Kelly, the way you just were talking about your bosses, like that's how you feel. You feel super connected to somebody who believes in you. I talk about in the book that there's 3 questions that your employees never ask, but they want to know the answer to, and that is, do you like me? Do you think I have what it takes? And do you think I'm worth the effort? And if I'm answering those questions for you on my team as, yes, 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 I will run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah, I remember one particular time when my boss said to me, "Look, figure out how you learn from it. I still believe in you." And
Hmm.
that was it. That was the whole conversation. I had another boss one time where I did not proof um, an Excel spreadsheet, which I needed to. I didn't do the Excel spreadsheet, but it was my responsibility. And the person who
Mm,
did it froze part of it, but not all of it. So
mm,
when you're dealing with compensation and you're dealing with,
yeah.
I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess. And she walked into my office and said, "I would come in here and have a tough conversation with you, but you're doing it so well yourself, you don't need me." And she left.
That's great. That's
And
great.
I've never
But
forgotten those.
yeah, but that's a leader who understands, right? And probably nothing communicated better to you, like how much they believe in you and how well they know you, to be like,
Mhm.
you don't need any help from me. You're beating yourself up plenty right now, but I believe in you,
Yeah.
right? And that's great. That's a great story.
Yeah, I've had some great ones. Well, there's so many good portions of the book. I mean, the whole book is wonderful. I need to read it another time because of all my marks I have on it. You have this whole
Mhm,
bit around quitting, the quiet quitting, and I just
mhm.
think it's remarkable how you bring it all together. And I am so glad you wrote this book. I'm so glad you have shared your philosophy, your stories, and you have made it so relatable for us to be able to take a little packet of it today and be a better leader tomorrow. So thank you for that. And thanks for being on What the Heck is Happening in HR.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly.